Hey, friends and neighbors. Kind of planned for this to be a regular channel years ago. It's kind of got sidetracked. Just kind of started learning how to edit video and put out a couple. And then I somehow cracked the screen on my MacBook Pro computer that I was also using for business. And wasn't able to get that fixed and still haven't been able to get that fixed. It's kind of an expensive thing I see to change a screen out. So I got another computer, but it wasn't a Apple product, wasn't a MacBook. And the editing software was completely different. So never really got back into it. Tried a few things to work around. But anyway, the channel kind of got put on hold, and I plan to have a countdown on how we keep things interesting as time goes by. But kind of vacations, whatever we're doing that may be of interest to somebody or can help somebody, kind of got put on hold, and that's where we are. So I've kind of come to some conclusions. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it with what we have. We're not going to be, well, it's just going to be different. But anyway, as the countdown continues, I wanted to kind of get into some of the things that we've done as our countdown has gone through over the last few years. And I'll give you a little background story. When I was growing up, working family, mom and dad spent everything they made just about every month. The epitome of living paycheck to paycheck. They did everything they could to give me every advantage to try to come out better than they had it, and I appreciate that very much. First one in the family to go to college, and the whole story. But anyway, we didn't take very many trips. I remember one in 1968. We took a trip. Daddy only got 1 week vacation a year. Most of the time, we just spent that letting him rest up, doing things around the house that he wanted to do or needed to be done, and had to put it off until he had time off. He usually only got 1 day a week off, if that. So anyway, we didn't travel much. In 1968, we took our brand new Volkswagen Beetlebug to Florida. We camped out and stayed on the beach a little bit, saw some of the sights around St. Augustine, Florida, and that was it. Came back. In 1971, we went on another little trip out to Dallas to Six Flags and came back, and that's about it until I graduated high school. After that, and I started working full time, didn't go to college immediately, started working full time at the same radio station that my dad worked at. And we were able to take some time off and go to Opryland a couple of times. We were both country music radio announcers, so that was the thing to do at that time. And that's all about the travel that I had done. Went to college. Took me 5 years. I was on the 5 year plan simply because I had taken about all the courses they had to offer, and they told me you need to pick a major and get a diploma and get out of here, so I did. Went to work again, and I started work when I was 12 years old and worked straight through. And now I'm 27 when I graduated college. Got a teaching coaching job, and of course that doesn't give you a lot of time to travel. A few years later, met the love of my life. She was willing to get married, and we did. And she had grown up with a family that traveled. They were school teachers and had a little time off in the summer, and they would travel, and they saw things that I had only read about in books. And that was, I think, one of her goals was to get me to see some of the world. And we started traveling. In 2009, did something I never dreamed about. I actually left the country, but I didn't fly. Um, Obviously, we didn't have the money to do that when I was growing up, but I also had kind of a fear of flying. If God wanted us to fly, we'd have been born with wings. You've heard that story before. So we actually took an Amtrak train in 2009 from New Orleans to New York City. That was interesting. Saw things. Wow. Got to New York, saw some more things. And we hopped over to Brooklyn to Red Hook and got on a Cunard cruise ship. I didn't know much about all of this, but since I didn't fly, there was only one other way to get to England, and that's where we were going. So we got on a cruise ship in Red Hook in Brooklyn, New York, and Cunard was the cruise line. They're pretty big on transatlantic cruises. Well, I didn't realize Cunard is actually the mothership, if you will, of White Star Service. Some of you already know where this is going. White Star was the cruise line of the Titanic, and our captain felt obliged every time we got close to where the Titanic went down to tell us exactly how far we were away. Well, that didn't help things. But anyway, we got to England, spent 3 weeks there, toured castles, saw things that I had never dreamed I would actually get to see in my life. Got back on the same cruise ship, coming back 3 weeks later, went and basically reversed our trip. Came across the Atlantic to Red Hook in Brooklyn, New York. Got back on the Amtrak train and went back down to New Orleans. Got off the train and I was hooked on traveling. I've got to see some things. This is great. So we started taking family trips. My wife and I have 2 children, and we wanted to show them the world also, that there is a bigger place than just home. So we've gone all over the United States, not all 50 states yet, but to a lot of them. And hoping on this channel to kind of document what some of that was like, and maybe it will interest you. Maybe it won't. But if not, there's that little scroll feature that you can do on these, or just turn it off and go read a book. Whatever you want to do with life. That's kind of what this channel is about. As the countdown continues to whatever it's counting down to, that's what I want to share, what we're doing with our time here. 2009 was my first big time to actually do any traveling, getting to go to England. But since then, times have kind of changed. I ended up staying with the job long enough to retire. Didn't really know what I was going to do in retirement. Teaching, coaching, being an administrator, athletic director, all of those things kept us very, very busy. Did cut down on some of our travel opportunities because as you get more jobs, you don't get summers off and that sort of thing. But as time went on, we did do some traveling. Fell in love with Disney World. Seen a lot of national parks. I retired, got a job that I never dreamed I would be getting into, that had a 403B business that allowed me to go back into schools and help some of the people that I had worked with in our area to save for retirement. And by doing that, the home office wanted me to go to Burlington, Vermont, actually Montpelier, but the airport's in Burlington. Well, it was December, and I don't fly. So I looked, and that's a hard 3 days drive in December in the north, in Vermont. It's snow on the ground. I'm in South Louisiana. I don't know how to drive in snow. So I was going to turn down the opportunity, but the home office pretty much made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I needed to be at this meeting. So, okay, got on the plane in Baton Rouge, landed in Charlotte, North Carolina. Had to swap flights. I'm by myself. My wife could not go. She was very familiar with flying. She's not afraid of it. So I landed in Charlotte, North Carolina, safe and sound. I thought, well, that's so far so good. Got back on another plane after lunch and landed in Burlington, Vermont. Same day. Really only about 4 hours of flying time. Met the guy from the home office that was going to drive us over to Montpelier, spent the week, came back. Same deal, coming back. But here's what really hooked me on flying, other than I didn't die. I ate lunch in the Burlington, Vermont airport. Flew back down to Charlotte, swapped planes. Not a lot of layover time this time. Swapped planes, landed back in Baton Rouge. The kids lived in Baton Rouge, picked me up at the airport, and I had an early supper in Baton Rouge. Lunch in Burlington, Vermont, supper in Baton Rouge. You can't do that driving. So, didn't die, didn't take a lot of time. I'm hooked on flying. So now we have, over the years, actually gone back to England several times, gotten very used to the train travel over there. They have a much better train system than we do. Taken some cruises that we'll get into. Want to do individual segments on each type of thing that we've done. This is just an overview. So we have done train trips. We've done riding in a van with 6 people trips, national parks, over what they used to say overseas. I don't know what they call it now. I still do because I'm old. But over to England, France, Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, or Holland, whatever you want to call it, Italy, done a Mediterranean cruise, done three transatlantic cruises, flown over a few times. So it's been really interesting for me as somebody who grew up not traveling. And this is all just in the last 10 years or so. Never had cruised except for that transatlantic cruise, which was more transportation. Since then, we've been on Carnival cruises, Princess cruises, and Royal Caribbean cruises, and I loved all of them. Have fallen in love with cruising. So we'll go into cruising quite a bit. And one of the things I do want to do, because I found a lack of information on YouTube about specific cruise cabins and what to prepare for. And I know as time goes on, they remodel and they redo the electrics and things of that nature. But I do want to do room tours for specific rooms that we're in from here on out. And hopefully we'll get to do a lot of cruises. I have a couple booked already. So that's kind of where we're at with As the Countdown Continues channel. I do want to make these as short as possible, but this was kind of an overview of why it's called that. I got that, of course, from Casey Kasem, one of my heroes back in the day when I was a young radio announcer, and Casey had the top 40 on every weekend. Everybody knew Casey Kasem. He was great. So one of his things was the countdown continues. I'm just looking at it more of life than a top 40 radio countdown. So this was the overview. We'll take cruising, we'll take national parks, we'll take flying to England and some of the things we've gotten to see over there, in Disney World. Loved all of it. I love to travel. Wish we could do more of it. My wife is not retired yet. Once she does, that's what we plan to do. and hopefully we can make that happen. So, hope you enjoyed this. If so, there'll be more coming out. Kind of got a plan of sorts now without the computers. We'll just do what we can. So, thanks for watching. As the countdown continues, make sure you're using all of your time wisely. And I'll try to do the same.